It's a pleasure. We've worked so much in the past. I don't even know how many years already, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's been quite some time. So we've shot music videos,
Right, right.
did promo videos.
Yeah, yeah. You
And
my
then,
guy, man. You're my guy.
Yeah. And I've seen you like progress. From traveling outside of the world
Yeah,
and doing
yeah.
these shows all over. It's
Likewise, man. I see you as well, man. I smile. I watch you go from videographer, transition into DJing.
Yep,
You know
yep.
what I mean? Then and the fitness.
Oh
I'm all
yeah,
about
yeah.
fitness, man.
Yeah.
Now you here interviewing, man.
I know it's a little different being in front of the camera this time, but hey, it's
Yeah.
nice to be stepping outside the box. But I guess what do you think we could do to just make things different as far as the interview process? Just kind of make different from everything else you've done.
Oh, that's a good statement, man. I suggest let's set our intentions, right? So let's begin with the end in mind, if you will. So I think there's a difference between an interview and a conversation, right? An interview is more formatted, is more susceptible to time, right? A conversation, you can get lost in a conversation and time dissipates, right? It's like time disappears, man. So let's set out to have a conversation versus an interview, and that way it allows us to become immersed in thought and dialogue. You know what I mean? Rather than like, all right, question answer, you know what I mean?
I agree.
Conversation versus interview, I think that's where you get more of the organic ping pong verbally.
Right.
You know
No,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
Each
Definitely.
mind sparking interest and inspiration in the other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. No, I agree with that. Let's make everything as genuine as possible and whatnot.
Yeah. Let's go deep. Let's
Yeah,
peel
yeah.
some layers, man.
For sure. So yeah, like I said, man, you've been working a lot. You recently just released an album, Finally Free.
Finally free.
Finally
man.
free, man.
Finally free.
Well, congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Whoever's watching this, make sure you stream that on Apple Music, Spotify?
Apple, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music,
Okay.
Deezer, Amazon, Google Play,
Everything.
whatever. Yeah, whatever is available is there.
Right,
You know
that's
what I
awesome,
mean?
man. So I mean, like, tell me, what was like your inspiration on, putting together that album?
Man, a lot of the inspiration was trying to bring some type of music with a feeling back. A lot of the music that I grew up on, it was very relatable and relevant, no matter the emotion, no matter the setting. Whatever you were going through, there was always music that provided a soundtrack to that moment. And I think we've gotten away from that. I think the creative process has somewhat been muzzled. And now artists are pretty much trying to duplicate whatever formula worked for the previous artist or the artist next to them. And so there's no there's no uniqueness
Okay. Yeah.
to a lot of the music or the artist, because everybody's making the same thing. If this is what's working, then this is what we're going to do. And to me, that just, even when you say it, it sounds like a industry executive, right? Somebody with a suit, tie, what have you, and it's all about the financial gain of it, right? It's not really about the art of it. And I think that's what I kind of wanted to set out to do. That was my intention at the very beginning of the album.
To
And
make it
then,
about the art.
yeah, just to get back to the art, to where, art doesn't have rules. Art is like coloring without lines, the industry has lines like, oh, you can't go over here. Oh, you can't use this color. Oh, these two colors don't go together.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of art. Art creates things that don't exist. You know, the industry is, this is what exists. These are the rules. Play by them. And according to statistics, this should produce this type of outcome, right?
Yeah,
Well, art innovators, artists, they oftentimes create what's not even invented yet. You know what I mean? They operate in a godlike way to where things that don't exist become existent and they become a part of history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if nobody ever created it, then it never exists. So that's more so the creed that I live by, man.
No, I love that. Just because, like how you were talking about, you know, the difference in art in the industry, you know, I feel like with the industry, it's kind of like the way, you know, the executives kind of look at it. It's
Yeah.
more of a kind of like
Yeah.
a business. They have like
Exactly.
that business mindset.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's money motivated.
yeah. And it's kind of rare to see like a industry executive where they're kind of like, they look at the art side, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what it kind of makes you different from all the rest.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I love. Just being able to see, you know, some genuine art and, you
Yeah.
know, genuine music that's coming from someone rather than, you know, oh, let's remix like a song that I found
Yeah.
on TikTok just to blow up. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. The whole, we've been groomed as a society like to expedite our journeys. You know what I mean? And you think about it, if you run a race, once you get to the finish line, you know what I mean, it's over, right?
Yeah,
Then you
yeah.
realize, damn, the race is over. So all that preparation, all that getting up in the morning, all that training, all that, all those lifelong memories that you create, the faster you go through it, the faster it's over. Once it's done, you know. And it teaches us, it gets us away from just really slowing down and enjoying things and really taking it all in, man. That whole push to go viral is in essence like a overnight success type of thing.
Right,
You know,
right.
and a lot of times when you do that, you pretty much compromise the art for the sake of whatever is getting more clicks, more views, more likes, man. You know, I just try to somewhat rage against the machine on that, man. I never want to be that guy
Yeah.
or that artist, you know.
Yeah. Because, like, one thing that I've seen too is, like, you know, someone will blow up quick,
Yeah.
but then they also fall off quick.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's-
If
yeah.
you don't have a great body of work and you just happen to strike gold and you go viral, well, now it's like
yeah.
you live out that moment. Now what else do you got? And
Right.
if you don't have the time invested or the product on standby, then you're right. Now you fighting to hold on to that spotlight. Like, I don't want to lose this.
Right.
Like, this feels great, right? But
Yeah.
it goes just as quick as it comes because people aren't really prepared for it. And that's what I mean about, you get people to speed up and now it's over. So then they start just making anything to try and strike that gold again, man.
Right. Yeah. As far as, like, you know, the album and how you were creating it, I know everybody, you know, is an artist or any
Yeah.
type of creator. They have some sort of, you know, process they go through.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, with art, there's no like rules with anything.
Yeah,
So I guess, you know, what was like, I guess, the most challenging part in, like, you know, creating an album or really anything that you create?
Well, the most challenging part with creating this album, honestly, man, was finances. First off, chasing any dream, depending on what it is, most times can be expensive.
Yes.
But when you talk about something like music where you have to record, which means you have to go to the studio, you have to pay somebody to record you, or not. Some people record from home and do their. I'm not I don't have a skill set where I can record myself, do my own engineering. Some people do that and they save a lot of money. Me, I have to go to the studio. I have to have somebody record me. After recording, you know, you got mixing and mastering. Then you got to do promotion, and you got to shoot a visual with you. Like everything is related to a price tag, you know? So when you are financing a dream off a 9 to 5, as well as taking care of home, getting to and from your daily necessities, it takes longer. You know what I mean? Now people that have more liquid on hand, you know, then quite naturally it's a little bit easier to go in the studio and knock out 10 songs in one day or a week, you know. And that's kind of the difference between the independent artist versus an artist that's has the machine behind them. You know what I mean? Or even you could say the streets. You know, a lot of artists that come from the streets, you know, whether it be the drug game, whatever, they have more money on hand, right? So you can go to the studio for hours and hours and hours. Well, me, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure everybody's good at home. Then I gotta try and fit some studio time in there, some creative time. Like so, it's a juggle, and that was the hardest thing to overcome. And so I had to learn to be patient with myself and not look at the finish line and say, damn, it's taking me forever to get here. Like, so finally free, it speaks volumes because it's figurative and it's also literal at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that too. I think that's fine. I think a lot of people don't realize like how much work kind of goes involved or is involved with making music and stuff. Also, like the time and money and stuff like that. A lot of people like don't realize, you know, a lot of these artists we have regular jobs and stuff like that. Even myself, you know, starting with video, you know, my video production thing, I was working a full-time job, you know, saving money, trying to get all the equipment and stuff. And then not even just the money, it's like the time as far as like educating yourself, learning how everything works. It's definitely a process, and you know, I wish, you know, a lot more people realize that too. And then as far as, you know, people who do record themselves, and then also, you know, like yourself who records at studios and stuff, I guess, did you have any trouble kind of finding like an engineer that you work with, or kind of how does that like
Great question, man. So the hardest thing for a singer is finding an engineer that has experience with singers. So, of course, your higher end studios have more well-rounded and diverse engineers to where they work with all genres of music and artists. But when you kind of on a working class budget, you try and find those studios that don't break you, right? Because I mean, you got studios where it's literally can be hundreds of dollars per hour.
Price could range,
And then you have your studios where your price can be as little as 25 an hour, 30 an hour, right? So you're fortunate if you can find that $20-30 an hour engineer studio, and he is very talented in his skill set. But on average, the average engineer is used to recording rappers, right? And rappers and singers are night and day. So I remember early on recording songs, and early on, even vocally, I wasn't nowhere near where I've come now. So if you hear some of my earlier music, you know, I know a lot of singing people probably like, who is this guy? What is he doing, right? But that comes from having studio sessions with guys that are used to working with rappers. So it's like, you ready? Record.
Right. Yeah.
You stop. How that sound? Good. You wanna do it again, or you like? You sure it sound good? No, it sound good. Like, all right. And then you get in the car and you play it, and it's like, man, what is this? This is terrible, right? So that's all like a part of the journey and the process. So I finally, found an engineer that was able to guide me and help me get to where I was trying to go. And shout out to my guy Tube, who we both know, Tubby Fresco.
Oh yeah, great guy.
Oh man, that's my brother there, man. Tubby Fresco.
Yeah.
Breakthrough Sounds.
Yes.
That's my home. And together, me and him created the album Finally Free in that studio, man. We
awesome.
actually went through 2 studios. So he had one studio, he shut that down.
Oh yeah, the one in Beechwood.
He
right?
had the one
or I think
he had the one in Garfield.
Oh, maybe
No, Bedford.
Bedford. Okay.
Yeah, it was way out Bedford. And that's where we started the album. Then COVID hit.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah.
COVID hit. And then he like, man, I'm moving out of here, man. We had some issues. I'm going to something bigger and better. And I was along for the ride with him. So Breakthrough Sounds, I look at it now, like me and you were talking about how we've evolved. Breakthrough Sounds has evolved tremendously, man.
For
Like
sure.
they hosting big events and all types of artists coming through there. So I was fortunate, man, that we found each other. And that became my home studio.
That's
so
awesome.
everything you hear is a result and a product of Tube and me working
awesome.
hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's definitely important. It's like, finding somebody you have, I guess, like good chemistry with.
Yeah,
Being able to, create something. Because like art, you can't really. It's tough to like just kind of force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even myself, like working with musicians and stuff, whether it be, I mean, not even just musicians, really, just anything like visually. It's a lot easier to work with someone who you have chemistry with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
makes everything so much easier.
Yeah.
Put the money aside or whatever. It's like just having that good, working relationship.
That good vibe, yeah.
It changes the game for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even, me and you were referred to me, because one of my guys, Bruce, he knows the type of vision I have. And I was like, man, I don't want to do one of these template music videos where everybody's videographers are kind of set in a template, if you will, where they like
routines.
we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this shot, we're gonna do the slow-mo shot here, we're gonna do the shot in front of the car.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then you got the smoke coming, then you got the girl in slow-mo, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, man, you may need to check out this guy named Scene. I was like, all right. And me and you met, and I explained the vision I had for Choose. And right off the bat, he was like, all right, bet. Like, okay, this is something, this gets my juices flowing. Like, let's go. Like, a short film into a video, like, let's do it, and that made the difference.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Multi-thinking, man.
Yeah, I was just like reading this, but yeah, no, yeah, that's like a big thing as far as like, the chemistry. Oh, I guess like what I was gonna say is, as far as like the video stuff, like people who are just like into a routine, I think it's kind of like the same thing as you were talking about with engineers who are just always working with, like rappers and stuff. I think that also kind of plays a part with people who do visuals. It's like, a lot of these songs, I mean, let's go back to even like the first, part of the conversation we had was like, people making the same type of songs, it goes down to the same type of thing. Like with the videos, everybody wants to do, shots in front of the car, girls twerking or something like that, so I feel like that kind of just really plays a part, as far as on the video side, as far as what I see when I work with artists, it's like, oh, they're just gonna come to me with a typical, club type song. Okay, we're gonna just do this then. So it's like it's definitely a breath of fresh air. Working with someone like yourself who has more of a creative vision and actually has, I guess like a story behind the music.
Yeah.
So that's always a beautiful thing.
That's a great point, man. Cause I want to make sure that I didn't offend any of the videographers, cause
Yeah,
they can a lot of times they can only do what the song is talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
good correction there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So as far as your music, it's taken you like all over the world.
Yeah.
You performed at some festivals and stuff all over the United States.
Uh-huh.
And one big thing that I've seen is like you always perform in Dubai, which is
Yeah.
pretty wild. So,
Yeah.
kind of tell us like how, that kind of evolved.
So the Dubai thing is definitely a blessing from God. I can't act like I'm this mega star with this huge following and I got these smash songs on the radio. It literally was God saying, you had enough faith to start, regardless of what you didn't have, regardless of who wasn't backing you, regardless of who didn't know you. And essentially, that's enough for me to come in and make the impossible possible, right? So I actually debuted my career in Dubai, man.
Oh, wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I actually started in Dubai, not by design, by destiny. I won't say by coincidence. I say by destiny. And from there, I had roots there. I had representatives speaking my name in rooms that I wasn't in. Of course, I'm way across the country, but the way God set it up, I left a seed in the ground, and that seed eventually sprouted and became what you see on social media and whatnot, man. The All Africa Festival in downtown Dubai, man. That was an amazing experience. It was so amazing. I took it so serious, and I did well enough that they trusted me to say, "Hey, I got a couple friends," and I was able to, bring a crew partners over, and we did a performance as well.
Nice.
And it was just blessing others supersedes whatever you receive individually all day, any day. So it was nothing like experiencing it alone because you're like, damn, I wish so-and-so was here. I wish so-and-so was here. I wish, right? But to be able to bring some of those people, not everybody, but to bring some of those people and they experience what I experienced, it brings tears to my eyes, just thinking about it. It was awesome, man.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, like, I guess as far as like, just doing anything out of like the country, I mean, was there like any like, I guess, there's obviously like culture difference when you're out there, but is it like a little bit different, kind of like performing in front of a crowd out there compared to like performing in front of a crowd like locally?
Absolutely, man. Because they're so when you see Dubai, you see all these fancy things.
Yeah,
You see like the lifestyle of the rich and famous.
yeah.
So that's one aspect of civilization, but the other aspect is culture. So what a lot of people don't realize, Dubai is not even 60 years old.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so we know people that are older than Dubai. So with that being said, there's still a lot of things that are new to them, like entertainment and art and things like that. So they import a lot of artists over there. So now you're starting to see even more and more major American artists going over there performing because they're very, very appreciative
That's awesome.
of the art. Here, it's in abundance, right? So you can be like, I'd rather sit home and watch TV than go listen to music down there. But there, it's like, this event is going on here, this event is going on, this event is going on, and they're excited about it, right? So performing there, of course, I'm singing my songs. There's a language barrier.
Oh yeah.
So you can't make out every word, but music is vibrational, right? So just vibing through the rhythm, they rocked with it, and they were loud, and they were mumbling the words, right? They don't know the words, but they're mumbling them. And when I came off stage, there was a line of people waiting
Wow.
to shake my hand and take pictures with me. I don't even know how they got backstage, but it was literally a line of people waiting to shake my hand and take pictures.
Wow.
And then I went out in the crowd. If you ever seen that footage, I went out into the crowd after I performed. I didn't like act like a Hollywood celebrity, because I wasn't. You know what I mean? I'm just DAVY. Like, I was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
A lot of other artists is like, I'm an artist. I got 7 million followers, so they hang out backstage.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm bumped back here. Like, I go out in the crowd, and man, they form a circle around me. Like, that's him. That's DAVY.
That's
right?
dope.
So they form a circle and they start dancing and embracing, and it's just like damn, like this is different, right? Versus performing here, you gotta be exceptionally well. You have to be good at entertaining and controlling the crowd. And even if you have all those things, you'll very well get a person that watches your whole performance like this,
Just stiff.
right?
Not even move.
And then when you're done, that person will come over to you like, hey man, you killed it. You had an excellent job. You looking like
yeah,
you feel like I had to look away from you because you was messing up my vibe. Like, it's just a different. We have like a overabundance of cool. Like we're too cool to be like yeah, unless it's like somebody that's already famous and popular. So it can be discouraging for an up and coming artist, man. But you just had to have that much belief in yourself and what you're doing, man, to overcome it. Like people say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it here. I say if you can make it out of here, man. We have some of the hardest fans, some of the hardest consumers. It's really hard to please a Cleveland consumer, man. So that's been one of my best accomplishments, man.
That's awesome.
Getting people from Cleveland to rock.
That's cool. Yeah, that's got to be like a really unreal feeling, being able to rock a crowd in a different country and stuff. Because I've been on stage a couple times, doing DJ stuff, and I definitely, understand the feeling of when someone's in the crowd and it's like they're just kind of just stiff. It's like that energy is just like
you have to look away.
Yeah. But when it comes to performing and stuff like that, do you have some sort of like routine that you do, whether it be physically, mentally, to get yourself prepared for the show?
So there's a interlude on the album where it says "Fearless" with Professor Hunter, and on that we go through a conversation where we talk about whatever you're coming up against, whether it be a big event, big presentation, big interview, big performance. The fact that you're already included, the fact that you're already on the agenda, you have a performance slot, the fact that you got selected out of so many people, like you have to take that and you have to frame it to where you say, I'm already bigger than it, right? So oftentimes backstage, as I'm getting ready, I'm just telling myself, like, it's already done. Like, we're here. The people are out there. The tickets sold. So you're already bigger than it. Now you just have to go out and live in the moment, Like, it's like cooking dinner, right? The hard part was you got to get all the ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got to cook all the stuff. Then you hope everything comes out right. Then you set the table. Well, then after you do all that, man, I mean, the last thing to do is sit down and enjoy it, right? And that's kind of like how performing has become for me, man. Like, it's a good pressure, right? You get that feeling in your stomach, and you like backstage, like, dang, like, And sometimes you can't even see how many people are out there. You hear noise, but you don't know till you get out there. And when you get out there, it's just like, and most time I've already lived it in my mind visually. So the actual performance is somewhat of a replay. You know what I mean? So it's like I've already done it. It's already done. I'm bigger than it. I'm gonna take my time and enjoy every moment of this, and then afterwards I'm gonna sit back and reflect and say, damn, like man, that was amazing, man. Like I'm doing something that makes me feel alive, and that's special because there's so many people out here that don't get to exercise that feeling. Sometimes not at all. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that feeling getting up and going to work. Like you can do that on autopilot, right? But when you're doing something big, like you DJing for the first time, remember you're like, hey, I'm hosting my first joint tonight, right? You get that feeling, man, the palms, and you just like, and man, that means you're doing something grand. You know what I mean? Those are priceless moments.
For sure. I love the analogy with the making of food. And everything. I never really looked at it that way, so that's crazy. But the amount of times you perform, do you still get like a little nervous before you?
Man, every time, and it's I've embraced it now to where I know it's not a nervousness.
It's like an excitement.
I
type
reframe
thing.
it. Yes, it's an excitement, and that's why I brought that metaphor up for work. Like we can get up and go to work, and it's no jitters because it's just we're so used to doing it. It's not even exciting anymore, right? When you do stuff like that and you get that feeling, you can look at it as nervousness, or you can look at it as your body reacting to you doing something out of the norm, something really big, and the adrenaline's pumping and the nerves are firing. It's like that's when you know not only are you alive, but you're actually living. You know what I mean?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
For sure. When it comes to your music, you know, a lot of your music definitely has a lot of story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of meaning. What is it that you want people to take away from like your music? I guess you know, like what do you want them to feel? I guess, because it's definitely not like anything that's like ordinary. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
It's definitely has a lot of story and stuff behind it.
With this album in particular, Finally Free, it probably won't resonate with the masses until later when more success comes. But if you really slow down, that with this album, you have to slow down from society and listen. Like just looking at it, 23 songs, right? The average album now, they're saying, first off, they're saying don't even make albums, just do a bunch of singles, right? And so here I come with 23 songs. But if you really unplug from what society is grooming us to do and slow down and savor it, it's really a roadmap to freedom. So it starts off with a toast to freedom, meaning, like I said, begin with the end in mind. So for so much of my life, even though my situation didn't look like where I saw myself, I spoke my way to it. You know what I mean? Visually, I was there, even though physically I wasn't. So toasting the freedom, you toasting most times when you toast, you're celebrating something that's already happened, that's current, right? So when you start off toasting the freedom, like here's the freedom, right? And a lot of times, like when soldiers would go to war, it's like here's to blah blah blah, the victory before you go into war. It's almost like proclaiming like we're going to win this, right? So the album starts off, speaking it into existence. The album starts off with a toast to freedom. Then it talks about, you know, with Shooting Star, like I'm tired of living at the bottom. You know, I got problems that my 9 to 5 can't even solve them, right? And so ultimately, all I have to guide me is my dream, you know? And that's just tapping into what all of us kind of were sent here with, and that's a purpose. You know, your purpose is kind of like your dream. You get in tune with your purpose or your dream, you get into with your biological GPS. You know, like let me figure out why God put me here. You know what I mean? Out of all those swimming sperms, I was the one that made it to the egg.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously I have a reason to be here. And once you discover that, you begin to look for more. You begin to realize that my job is something that I have to do, but it's not what I am. You know what I mean? Unless, you find a job that's truly your passion.
Yeah,
For me, it wasn't, right? And then you go from that to I'm trying talks about the struggle with the journey, right? Like, I want to be this, I want to become that, but man, life is hard. I got kids, I got a family, that's what I'm trying. And then it goes into like go higher. That's like the moment where it's like, okay, now I'm starting to get some traction. Now I feel like I got backup. Now I feel like the angels are like, we got you. Come on, let's go. Time to go higher. Time to come up. And each record is strategically placed as a roadmap to freedom, man. So I want people to listen, and I want people after they're done listening to be more conscious of what is my freedom? What does my freedom look like? And that's why, my slogan, with the Freedom Paper brand is find your freedom. Everybody has an idea or a picture of what their freedom is like. Your freedom may not be mine, but you have one.
Right.
We all have our version of freedom. And I just want people to become in tune with that and not accept what society pushes on us to be robots.
Yeah. I love that. As far as like you said, how each track is like strategically placed and everything like that. I love how it's like more of like I guess kind of like like a journey type thing, And I agree. I feel like people might not really resonate with it at first, but the beautiful thing about it is it'll make it like timeless. You know what I mean? Like people will be able to, kind of more relate to it, later down the road. Whether it doesn't have to be now. So I mean, but that's awesome for you. As far as like your journey through the music industry and everything, what would be kind of like, you've done so much, whether it be even just finding the right engineer for you, traveling all over the world and juggling a 9 to 5 and doing a music thing. What I guess would be like kind of like the biggest lessons you've kind of learned through your journey?
The biggest lesson I would say is never be afraid to do it alone. I think a lot of times we want the results of somebody that's been putting in the work. We want the support of somebody that's put years and years in, and they got a big fan base. We want all the things that come with success up front.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like blessings are already waiting on us, right? They're already created. We just have to step into ourselves and our fullest potential, right? It's amazing how when you begin your journey, it starts off like you all alone. Then the further you go, by not quitting but persevering, all of a sudden these opportunities start coming. Like you start meeting people that just literally feel like they've been waiting with this favor to help you, but you had to first realize and become what it is that you are destined to be, because if you're not ready to receive it, you're gonna blow it anyway. You're gonna miss it, or you're gonna not capitalize on it, man. So going alone, for one, proves to you that you can do it, so you're not dependent on others, and two, it makes you ready for everything that's in store, that's waiting for you. So many things are waiting for you, but you have to first kind of get self together, man. It's like asking for a beautiful spouse or beautiful mate, and you're not ready for it. So you get the beautiful spouse, but you can't sustain it. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like the journey taught me. And At first, I waited a lot because I was waiting for people. I was waiting for somebody to say, hey, I got a studio, you can come here. Hey, I got this, you can. And what I noticed is I began to be on other people's time. And no matter what you think or what you believe or how genuine a person is, you're not more important to them than they are to themselves.
Yeah.
On top of life happening, right? So you'll find yourself waiting forever, and then you forming attitudes because somebody's not making you a priority. Well, don't wait. Figure out ways to empower yourself to do it. And once people see that, oh man, you doing that? Like you did that by yourself? Like, well, I got a guy that does this. He can probably help you with. It's like all these different channels are opened because you've proven yourself worthy of it. You know.
Yeah, like that's I guess even just in the past, as far as like myself, like that's what I've always thought is like, you know, you got to be able to kind of work on yourself first, because it's like, why would somebody want to invest their time into somebody who isn't even doing anything for themselves? You know, like even just like people who want to be like signed to a record label of some sort. It's like they want to get signed, but it's you got to show this business. You know, these executives like, oh, he's really putting in some work. Like that way, I'm gonna put some money into it. You know, it's like
you want people to take all the risks. For you.
And it's crazy because like a lot of people who are not involved anything with the music industry, you know, they just see the lights and you know all the glamour and stuff like that, and they don't realize how much work is put into it, all the years, you know, and all the connections that have to be made. It's like
through
you know,
time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time into it. I've learned that a lot, whether it be in the video world, the DJ world. It's like you have to make those connections. So it's very, very important.
This very room that we sitting in now is based off time and relationships and connections. Typically, the most relationships we have come from somebody else that introduces you and blah blah blah, and it's through that journey, through that time, you kind of nurture the relationship. So now you know, you look at it, we're in this beautiful establishment. It's not mine, but it's because of a relationship that I've grown over some time, and now we have a thing. Like, man, you need to shoot a thing, man. Come, you can use this spot, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that kind of goes into like the next part. I mean, it's like, you know, with everything that you've done, all the connections you've made, the time you put in, and you know, performances that you've done. I guess what would you say are like the side effects of, you know, all the success that you've created for yourself? You know.
It's funny. Definitely the hate.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, you start putting a few wins together in a row.
Yeah.
You definitely start smelling the aroma of envy and jealousy, especially in the city as such, where the average person thinks from a point of view of scarcity. Like if you find success or you just took my opportunity away, right? We don't believe that there's an abundance of opportunity coming out of this city. So oftentimes people don't like seeing somebody else blossom and win. And it's unfortunate because actually, I mean, you pretty much limiting God to say, God, you only made enough to where me and this person got to get in a dog fight to see who gets the blood. Like, it's pretty goofy to even think that way. Like, you know, I'm sure there's enough for everybody, especially once everybody gets in tune with their own individual purpose. And you know what I mean? I think if more people did that, figuring out what their freedom is, I think there would be less focus on somebody else winning, or because I'm content, like I'm fulfilled in what I'm doing. So I'm not concerned with what he's doing and the success he's having doing it, unless it can help me with what I'm doing. But I damn sure won't be envious of them. You know what I mean? So that's one. The other thing is, with the success comes somewhat of a bit of paranoia too. You know, I remember being out and now more people know you than you know. So if somebody sees you, let's hope and pray that they like you and they like, hey, Scene, what's up, man? I saw you on the thing. But just imagine if they don't.
Oh yeah.
And you don't know who they are, right? So you're walking amongst enemies and you don't even know it. Like I was at a grocery store one time and a guy came like face to face, shoulder to shoulder down there, was like, what's up? Like his his conversation skills weren't the greatest, right? His communication. So he got close and he's like, what's up? So I'm like, what's up? He was like, that Freedom Papers thing, I like that, man. Keep doing it. So I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I walked off and I'm like, damn, like that's scary, man. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, you're not at the point where you're walking around with security and bodyguards. So it's like people know you and you don't necessarily know them. You kind of begin to look left and right, up and down, and it's just one of the things that makes sense why a lot of artists say now, you know, give me the money, you keep the fame. Most times people want to be famous, and it's like, man, that fame, it has a double standard to it, man. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about too, because it's like, you know, for artists like yourself, you don't really make any type of music where, you know, it's, you know, with violence and stuff like
exactly.
that. Like, you know, compared to somebody who does like with the street music and stuff, I can imagine, you know, they're always looking over their shoulder and stuff. But, you know, with somebody like yourself, it's like, I can only imagine how that felt with someone coming up to you like that and just kind of
it was a trip. Yeah, that was the first time. Like, whoa.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's just crazy to think about. But, but as far as you know, like, you know, the success and everything that you've had and stuff, I'm sure you know, the women probably have been. You know, flocking to you a bit, you know, with the music, with the music that you make and stuff. But how was it dating? You know, with being an artist and stuff like that in the music industry and having all like the attention on you and stuff.
Right.
How does that kind of like work?
I mean, it has its good and its bad. You know, most artists, you know, you watch a lot of interviews and stuff, and artists say, "I'm not really focused on that right now. I'm focused on my career." And you know, that's. I think it becomes a bit of a perspective thing. So for me, I embrace it because it's the best time for me to date, because whoever comes into my life at this point, you really get to see how they can handle the path and the journey I'm on. Once you kind of have your destination locked in to your GPS, right? You know which way you're going, you know, all right, I'm going north, south, east, west, whatever. Anybody that comes into your path, once you identify which direction they're going, I mean, you can almost, you know, instantly you can say, okay, we go in two different directions. Like you either going my way or else. I'm not going your way. We're going the same way or else. I'm not getting off course to go this way, that way, that way. So I embrace dating now. And then, you know, with this line of work, it triggers certain emotions like jealousy, selfishness, insecurity, you know. And a lot of times a person can wear a mask for years, months, right? You may spend 6 months to a year with a person, and then year 5, God forbid, they're a totally different person. You're like, man, this is not who it's not who I met. So I like dating now because it helps filter through people that really can't go where you're going, man. But if I had to choose between dating, being single, or committed, I would take committed all day. Somebody that gets you, somebody that understands where you're going, somebody that brings balance. Because if you're somebody like me that's a machine, like you just go, you go, you go, well, you tend to have areas of deficiency because you're so focused on the goal, the art, whatever it is you're doing. You leave these other things to be vulnerable. And when things don't receive your attention, they begin to dwindle. And having a partner that understands, okay, I know what he's doing, I know what he's trying to do, here's how I can help him get to where he's going. I can fill these voids, I can patch these gaps so that all together he's whole. And that type of partnership is priceless. You can't put a price on that.
Oh,
you know what
for
I mean?
sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I myself, I'm happily married now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, being able to find someone who can really truly understand you.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. It's like before, I was just working nonstop.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's good to have that balance, just like, being able to step out and not focus on work or do something else, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's awesome. And I would imagine too, it's like, kind of helps inspire you create some music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. When your life is together and you
Yeah.
have balance produces creativity. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? When things are out of balance, just like the body, you things happen. You
Yeah.
get warning signs, you get an ache, you get a pain because
Mm-hmm.
something's not right. And like imagine going to a studio all night trying to get this together. And so oftentimes what are you gonna do? You're on the way home,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get some fast food, you're gonna get some, right? But having a partner that's like, hey, I love you, go to the studio, do what you gotta do. When you get home, dinner, where you want me to put it in a microwave, or you know what I mean?
Oh,
Being
yeah.
able to come home and get a nutritional meal, man,
Mm-hmm.
versus driving home late, getting some fries and a 4 for $4. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. No, definitely the home cooked
yeah,
meals. Can't
you-
beat that, man.
Yeah, you can't beat it. And for artists, most times that's what's out of balance, the home.
Oh, yeah.
So having somebody that can make the house a home, priceless, man, priceless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially, being on the road a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
late night studios and stuff. It's,
Yeah,
health is a big thing. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
put priority in. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I used to eat like trash back in
Yeah,
the
we
day,
all, man,
Yeah,
you-
so it's like, being able to have
Yeah.
that home cooked meal, just that balance, man. That's so important for
Well,
sure.
something I saw that I really enjoyed when we shot the Dream video.
Yeah.
You don't got a camera crew, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
And then this time you like, well, to complete this vision that you got, I'm gonna need another cameraman. So you got your wife to step in.
Yeah,
And she was the other cameraman.
yep,
You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
And together y'all conquered it. And it's like my lady a lot of times, she's my behind the scenes cameraman,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, I know that you need this in order to do this and do that. You can't do that and
Yeah.
do this. Like here's where I can help out. And man, like I said, if that was a person filling a position, a job position, I'd be paying that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That people get paid to do that.
Yeah, I know. It's so valuable. Even if it's just like, even any little thing, man. Like
Yeah.
even just like little cell phone videos,
Yeah.
whether you be performing and
Yep.
stuff like that. Just having that
Yep.
is so important and
Yep,
so
it's
valuable.
priceless, man.
But I guess as far as like you being an artist, what would you say that your greatest strength is as an artist, but also your greatest strength as just a person, outside of music and everything like that?
Definitely my vision and my faith.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
easy, yeah. My vision and my faith. Those are my superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Vision is something that's rare. It's just like if you give a bunch of people a bunch of money, a person with vision is going to, they may build a whole city.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A person with no vision, they spend all the money on frivolous things and then they'll be back at square one. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Vision is definitely one of my superpowers, and faith, having the faith to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
With vision, that's one thing. Bringing it to life is the hard part, right? And that's
Yeah.
where the faith comes in. Most people fall off with executing a thought, making it real. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We can think a lot. We can go to sleep and have great dreams, right? But that whole execution part is where most people struggle, and that's where the faith kind of kicks in. Like, okay, the faith, the work ethic, the hustle, the grind
Yeah,
to
yeah.
bring the vision to life.
Yeah, I think the vision is definitely a big thing. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of like new artists, they don't really realize, you know, like where they want to go or
Yeah.
what they want to do. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, when you have that vision, it's like you have that goal set in
Yeah.
mind and stuff like that.
Yeah. You have vision. It's like the opportunity is looking for you,
Yeah.
right? It's like this guy's got vision. It's just a matter of time before he connects with the right person
Right.
that can actually have the power to push that vision to the forefront. So that's what I'm pretty much
Nice.
not waiting for, but anticipating.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but I know eventually somebody's gonna come along like, man, the things you doing need to be on a bigger level. I can help you with that.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know, with the vision you have, it's kind of like you're, like speaking things into existence in
Yeah.
a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just making it happen for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then also when it comes to like the faith and stuff, I always see that you hashtag what's next, God.
What's
so,
next,
like,
God?
So
Yeah.
what's like the meaning behind that? I guess. You know?
So ultimately, I mean, it's like flying a plane, man. You got your pilot, you got your co-pilot. Of course, I'm the co-pilot. God's the pilot, so he's leading. So I always just say, "What's next, God?" You know what I mean? Where are we doing next? And that's just to constantly reference my source, man. No matter how many great and marvelous things I do, I make sure everybody knows that I know where my source comes from. My power, my vision, everything comes from the Most High, God.
Yeah. I guess like also like where does your faith in God stem? Like I guess you probably grew up.
Yeah, I
you know,
grew up
like the
really
way to-
religious.
Religious, yeah.
I grew up religious. My mom was married to a pastor.
Okay.
She's a pastor. So I grew up very religious. First to arrive, last to leave at church. But as I matured through my own journey and through life as an adult, just experience has given me that unshakable faith. You go through many battles, many tests throughout the journey, and a lot of times you get punched in the face, punched in the stomach, you take hits. But when you look back over your record and you see undefeated, you see you won everything, man, you begin to have a sense of assurance that no matter how bad or how bleak the situation may seem, you always come out victorious. And after a while, you have to walk in that. That's power. If you can hone it to where you're like, okay, I know this is just a test. This is just something to help me progress or graduate to another level. You don't look at things as devastating as you would prior. You know, you don't get lost in this moment of time. You say this moment is preparing me for the next moment.
Yeah. Kind of like the saying, you know, like everything happens for a reason. You
Yeah,
take
yeah.
everything as kind of like I guess kind of like a learning
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
You
It's
know?
like the Matrix, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe? I guess like you as an artist, you know, how long have you been doing music, by the way?
Secretly, I started doing music in 2005. I didn't go
2005,
public.
okay.
I didn't go public with it till 2017 in
Oh, wow.
in
Okay.
Dubai. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go 2005 to now, that's roughly 19 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you always want to like do music?
No, I was a basketball guy.
Oh, okay.
You
Oh,
couldn't tell me
yeah.
I wasn't going to the NBA. You know, that was
Oh, wow,
that was my
okay.
life. I always loved music, but I never wanted to be a singer. No.
Yeah.
I knew I had vocal talent. My mom could sing, my dad could sing, but I thought singing was corny. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be that. I wanted to be a professional basketball player.
Wow. Yeah.
And it didn't work out, but I was able to reframe my life, and now I realize everything that I gained from basketball I just apply it to this, and that's why I'm having the success that I'm having, man.
I feel it. Nice. That's a pretty cool transition, though.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, from sports to music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find that like music is kind of like your way for freedom? Because I know like that's a big thing as far as your
Yeah,
theme.
yeah,
You know,
freedom. Oh, that's
freedom.
all I
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about. Yeah. Well, to be honest, man, I would say like the album says, finally free. I I probably feel at this moment I'm the freest I've ever been.
I love that.
So I would say, yeah, music has been my train ride to freedom, and there's more freedom to gain. So I guess the next step would be being totally financially supported by my freedom, by that train of music. But right now, I feel very free, man. I wake up every day knowing that I'm not chasing my dream anymore. I'm living it.
You're living it. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
The money's not necessarily there, all the things that you would think, like when a person say they live in their dream, your dream house and all that, but I literally wake up every day inspired and motivated, and I think that's rare. More people like me that are self-motivated, things like that live in Cleveland, you have to give yourself a pat on the back, man, because it's really hard to maintain a high level of confidence, positivity. You wake up for half the year, we looking at bald trees that look like something out of a Wes Craven movie, right? Versus you go to LA, you go to Vegas, Dubai, you go to Miami, all those places where all year round you're seeing greenery, you're seeing people thriving, you're seeing fancy cars go by. So the moment you wake up, you have inspiration that's not even based off anything you've done. So you're motivated based on your surroundings. Here you wake up, you may be looking out at a gray sky. You may be looking out at rain, you know, snow. You may be looking at somebody's face who's aggravated by the rain, the snow, the gray sky. And, you know, it comes off and it's like, damn, like, how do I maintain this high level of drive in a city that's so, you know, down? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, like, shout out to everybody that has that type of drive and motivation.
Kind of like to rewind back to when we were talking about, you know, meeting the right people, you know, having a good network and everything. I'm sure you built a team around yourself and stuff like that over the years. You know, with their support and everything, I know that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Do you think that they, I guess, believe that you're gonna make it? I guess, you know. I mean, I'm sure they're kind of like rooting for you, but you know, as far as like, you know, just genuinely, it's like.
Yeah. You know what? In all fairness, man, here's the scenario I always paint. If you haven't noticed, I talk in scenarios, right? So. If $1 million, you know, most people aspire for $1 million, right? But let's just say $1 million was on the table. Hell, we can lower it to 100,000. And if somebody said, "I'll give you 100,000, but you got to place your bet. Place your bet that you truly believe Davey's gonna make it, or you can bet that he's not, right?" And you have that money sitting there, and you like, I mean, I'm rooting for you. Like, I ain't hating, but if I had to really, in my heart of hearts, he's here. He's in Cleveland. Nobody knows him outside of here or there. He's got this many followers. Like, I think the average person would probably be like, man, I'm supporting, I'm rooting for him. But if the money's on the line, I'm not gonna miss out on the money. I think it'd be a safe bet to say he's probably not gonna make it. You know what I mean? He's trying to become one in a million, right? He's trying to beat the odds and make it to be famous and successful off his music. Yeah, I just bet he probably won't make it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really maybe only a handful of people that in their heart of hearts, like, nah, I believe, I feel it. It's a vibrational thing. with him. It's a spiritual thing with Davey. Like, even if I can't put it into words, I just have this feeling that he's gonna make it. It's just something about him, and for me, I'm cool with that. Right? That's all I need is 2 to 3 to believe in what I'm trying to do. And that's what you would call maybe like the faith of a mustard seed. I'll take that and make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what as people we have to do, man. You can have 20 people rooting for you and 2 that's not. And we'll give all our energy and emotion to the 2 that's not, trying to figure out how can you not believe in me or rock with me, you know? So whether it's 2 or 20 that believe in you, take that 2 and make it happen. That's pretty much my stance on that, man.
Okay. Yeah. And that kind of goes, I guess, to the next part of it. That is, do you have a fear of kind of like losing people along the way?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
What? Absolutely. It's like going to war, right? And you in the helicopter, and you got you and all your buddies. You got your guns, you got your grenades, and you know you about to parachute out of this helicopter, and you dropping down to go to war, and you looking around at everybody, and you already know like somebody's not coming back. You know what I mean? That's scary, and with me, it's the opposite of dropping down. You're going higher. The more success you obtain, the higher you go in altitude. And you never know what somebody's limitation is in terms of altitude. Like, some people can only handle so much success, altitude, before they be like, this is too much for me, or those emotions of envy start coming out, or just where it just no longer is in tune with whatever they're doing, you know. And you never know who it's going to be, you know. It could be your significant other, it could be your childhood friends, it could be a family member, you know, because with success comes everything that comes with it, man. And I was watching a movie on Netflix with the Shirley Chisholm story, and her own sister despised her for the attention she was bringing to the family. She was trying to go against the odds to become the president of the United States, but as a result, her family was being ridiculed by people from the neighborhood saying, your sister crazy, can you believe she trying to do that? What's wrong with your sister? So there's certain levels where it's like, I was with you up until this point, but here's where I'm off, right? And you look and you're like, damn, you? Like, damn, you? Like, damn. So, you know, absolutely, yeah, I fear who's going to be the person that drops off, you know? It's like, you just don't know, you know? Yeah. And then with more success, you got backdoor deals, you got people that, you know, stab you in the back for a amount of money that you don't know, and it's like, damn, I thought you was like, you know, it happens.
Yeah. I'm sure you've kind of already been through situations like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I've
like
lost
that.
some people. Yeah, yeah.
I guess, how do you kind of like process that? You know what I mean? Because I know like some artists, they probably you know, take it like way too to the heart. You know what I mean? Way too much, and it's like it kind of makes them lose focus on what they really need to be doing. So it's like, I always see this too. Like, you know, people who are just so focused on people who are like, oh, they're hating on me, blah blah blah. And it's like they put so much energy into those type of people, and it's like, well, you gotta focus on people who are like,
who rooting for
side,
you?
You know what I mean? It's like people
you,
don't want to hear about you talking about, oh, like F these people, blah blah blah. It's like, so like, how do you kind of like navigate through that when you know, you lose some supporters or whatever, people that have been by your side, you know?
Well, the same way, like I said, man, you can have 20 people rooting for you, and you'll let these 2 people that's not rooting for you disturb your peace, man. You have to, again, control what you can control. You can't control if somebody likes you or not, for one. Yeah. But if you got people that like you, you can control, roll with that. You know what I mean? Take those people and turn that 20 into 40, turn that 40 into 80, that 80 into 160. And as far as losing people, I've gotten to a place in my maturity where I no longer get emotionally disturbed from the revelation. When things are revealed, it's not to throw you off course. It's actually to help you maneuver or adjust before danger comes into your life. Like if you got somebody that's not loyal and eventually will double cross you, if you don't find out early, you'll get way up here in the air and you're at your highest point with your career, your success, whatever, and that person does whatever they do and you have this great fall from glory, like the Selena story. You know what I mean? Selena was on her way. She didn't even get to where she was going. She was climbing, and her best friend became so envious of her success that she took her life. Now, if you know the story, I'm sure there was many occasions where signs were shown, like, yeah, I probably need to let her go, or I probably need to keep her at bay. And I'm sure other people said, hey, watch her, like, you know what I mean? And we have this emotional attachment to people that we started with. We think that that's who we're supposed to finish with, and that's not necessarily how the story is written, So you have to be okay with losing people and understand that everything is always working for your good, Everything happens the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, I love
You
that.
holding on to that can actually disqualify you from what's to come.
Yeah, and that right there kind of just definitely speaks to his like a maturity as yourself as an artist. You know what I mean? It's like, you've been through so much, so it's like if you didn't have that type of mindset, we probably wouldn't be
here.
Yeah. Talking about the new album that you
Yeah.
just dropped and stuff like
Facts,
that. So,
man.
but yeah, I guess really what the last question is like, what's next? What's next for DAVY? What's next in the future?
Well, now that the album's out, the next phase is getting it in people's ears, right? So now is where we exercise our godlike abilities and create something that doesn't exist. And it's a perfect segue into introducing my guy, my brother here, my man T.
Okay.
Just his beautiful establishment, man, the Paragon. And together, me and him birthed Mini Soul Sessions, MS Squared. And that's something that it's like God saying, let there be light, right? Before that, it was dwelling in darkness. Then he said, let there be light. Now you have light. Now we live with light, right? So Mini Soul Sessions, something that didn't exist. And that's what I like. I like being a part of something that you build from the ground up and you watch it grow, It's like investments, versus hustles. Because it's something that we both are passionate about. So when you're passionate about something, it's hard for you not to see it through. It's hard for you to just turn and walk away. But I let him talk more about the Mini Soul Sessions, what that is, what it entails.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, beautiful space, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So yeah, like tell us about Mini Soul Sessions. What you guys got going on?
Well, a mutual friend of ours, Marquette Williams, he is into filmmaking, etc. And there was something going on here completely unrelated, separate. And I opened up my place for it. And as I was sitting there listening to the people and the actors and the contributors and the stakeholders, you know, Dave and I just ended up being, you know, like the last two guys that hadn't said nothing to each other. So we introduced ourselves, and I listened to him, and you know, and in my mind, I'm reconciling everything he's saying with what he's doing and how he's, you know, his whole flow. And he made a comment. I can't tell you what the words are anymore, but he made a comment, and just the way he put his words together, it touched on something that was just in me, and which is part of how Paragon came. It was about activating your God-given senses, right? I want people to feel, smell, touch, hear, all of those things. And I just think that if you can do that, then you know it's hard to lose, right? So we hear and see videos. I'm old enough to remember the first music video, you know, and that took it to another level. We got FaceTime now that takes a conversation and gives it more depth, right? And now that conversation is even better. So now you got music. Instead of it just being an oral experience, now you can make it a visual one and even a sensational one because you can feel it and you can be part of it, right? And everything is just, music is meant to be felt. Unlike people when they think it's just heard, but it's to be felt. So I wanted it to do something. I didn't know what it was, but just talking to Davey, I said, I think I got it. And, you know, my raw idea, he was able to enhance. And then each idea, as I volleyed it over to him, he enhanced it, he gave it back, I enhanced it. And then we just said, all right, it's polished up now, let's release it.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. It was MS Squared, Volume 1. And it was just everything that we thought it would be. But then, you know, we're the type of people, both of us, where there's always constant work to be done and constant improvement to be made. So we know now some things that can further enhance MS Squared, right? And we want to give it to y'all.
Shout out to Hub's Groove. He was a part of the first volume, Hub's Groove. And the crowd that came out, man. We got people to come out on
a
Monday night after work with his favorite word, reverse brunch.
The reverse brunch.
The reverse brunch,
Okay,
right?
good for making up a phrase.
Nice. The reverse brunch. So brunch at happy hour.
Okay.
Yep. And we had a show, man. It was great, man. Nice. Again, you get the Cleveland crowd to come out and enjoy themselves. And for me, you know, it's all original music. Like that I performed off the Finally Free album. So you get Cleveland people to come out on a Monday after work.
It's a win right there. It's,
and listen to original music. Come on, man.
yeah.
And I thank him for rolling the dice. You know, that's a chance.
Yeah.
That's him taking a chance. And you know, like I said, you got one or two people that believe. Roll with that and make it 50, make it 100. You know.
Nice.
You know, and all the while never losing that intimacy.
Yeah.
Right? So things can be big. Well, I don't know. My subject verb agreement was right there. Things can be big, yet small. Right? You can be enthusiastic about something and passionate without being loud.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
You know, so we just want to give the world enthusiasm. We want to give them a very large product, but in an intimate, small space. And then that's just something that enhances those senses again, right? So the weather's turning to our favor. We got something in the books now. So now people, not only those who were just responding to what we described, now they got a tangible product. Hey, look, no, I was there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And now we got little disciples that can go out and share MS Squared with the people.
I like those contrasting adjectives you used, man. That was dope.
You know, just, stuff like that just happens.
Yeah.
You know, we get around to stuff like that happen.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, no, this was a great conversation.
Definitely, man. Conversations versus interviews. That's what we're doing from now on.
No, this is awesome.
Conversation.
You got me outside of the box in front of the camera.
Yeah,
you know, doing the interview things. This is my first one, so
you did good, man.
Yeah, man. No, I'm excited to see, you know, where everything takes you. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see, you know, how this place kind of grows and stuff. So, yeah, until next time. So.
We got the I'm Trying video. That's our next.
Yeah.
That's our next collaboration, man. So stay tuned for that.
Cool.
Peace.
In a minute.